Welcome back to the Nightmind office, everyone. Thanks for responding to the summons. I realized a while ago while thinking about what we have here and what we need as a growing field of art and storytelling that there is a certain degree of overlap to the circles, and it's in that space that a lot of good can be done we haven't quite tapped into. Last summer, I launched the Nightmind Index for Unfiction, a live catalog of new projects, underseen projects, and hidden gems, where creators themselves could submit their work and receive ready and open eyes looking for new experiences. That's been going great, and I've had a lot of awesome submissions, currently over 100 that you could browse through and support. But there's always more that I can do, and I realized that for the next step, it's not about finding a place to introduce these projects to new creators. It's finding out how to deliver the information they need to do their best without any involvement from the index. The site is a nice tool, but it is only one outlet, and projects need much more than a site that I update in bulk listings. We need something that we've quite literally never taken stock of as a field: data. Personal testimonies, numbers, approaches, successes, failures, lessons learned, theories proven. We've been sitting on a treasure trove of it all this time, but never actually compiled it to learn from. So why haven't we? If you were a new creator and you could learn the stories of the beginning days, execution approaches, and results of actions taken by the creators of projects in this field that have gained traction, how valuable would that be to you? How incredibly helpful could that be to have in forming your own approach and getting where you need to go while being aware of the reality of the journey? I think it would be a massive game changer. A few stories we've covered are great for showing the way certain things are done, but to have the detailed, day-by-day reports from the people behind them? That's a better deep dive than any video I've ever made. It's this revelation that led me to call you all here tonight. This summer, I'm conducting what I call Trailhead, an unfiction research project dedicated to compiling the testimonies, data, and wisdom from creators who have launched projects. It's time to get a really good look at what it's like to get something going, what it involves, what works, what doesn't, average numbers for audience accrual and where they come from, anything we can compile. And if you have run a project, I'm inviting you to submit and join the effort to pass on your knowledge and empower the next generation of creators. This doesn't just go for big creators either. Although, if I've covered your work here on the channel or you've hit it big, I absolutely would love your participation, and frankly, I need it. The creators of tomorrow and the hopefuls working on their concepts right now need it. If you've had moderate success, small success, or even crashed and burned, I want your stories too. This is a research project for mass scale, and the results we get could be incredibly eye-opening. Think about it for a second. Out of all the projects that are seriously produced and put out there, what % of them achieve the kind of grand slam success and numbers that we've seen? What does the average experience of a project launch and duration really look like? Do we have any idea what's actually normal for this field? I get a lot of would-be creators who greatly worry about not stacking up to what they perceive as the reality of success, but that perception might be stunningly incorrect compared to what happens on average in the field, and what in reality actually is manageable for a creator or a team, what makes them happy, what makes them feel the effort was worth it. No single one of us is as powerful or valuable as all of us. So how about we get as many of us as possible into one room, so to speak, and finally see the hard numbers and get the info so many could benefit from. Here's what I want in terms of specifics. If you're a creator of an unfiction project that is older than 1 month online, I invite you to send me an email. Send it to nmindexentry@gmail.com. Begin the subject line with Trailhead in square brackets, just like this. It's very important that you start the subject line exactly like that. This is the email where I also receive index entries, so I need to know immediately when I'm looking at an entry for the site or for the Trailhead project. Type the name of the project you created immediately after. If you want to give your name, be it an online name, a creator name, or your real name after, then put a dash and write your name or put it in parentheses. For example, here's what it would look like if I entered an email using Nightmind as the project name. Now, for the email, I want you to tell me your creator story. If you ever thought about a time when you could just go full-on autobiography with how you came up with your project, how you started to work on it, launch it, all of that, this is your chance. I want to read the story of you as the creator of this project from the day you decided you were going to pursue it right through to the last relevant day involving the project. And if you could format it like a timeline, that's bonus points. Tell me about the concept and the moment in time you made the decision to pursue it. If you think others would resonate with the details of the beginning, then feel free to share. Tell me how you began working on the project and what it involved. Plotting, learning new skills, discussing things with others if you had to, finding actors, figuring out how you were going to put it online, The whole beginning creative process and making the plans. Everything that came before the very first online post or video or file or tweet, whatever it was, write it up. I encourage giving dates and keeping a timeline throughout the email, even if it's just what happened in each month. I understand it may be hard to pinpoint actual days. If you want, you can even share what kind of camera you used if you needed one, what kind of software, any specifics like that. If it's a question you think an early creator would ask, go ahead and answer it. Tell me, in as precise detail as you can remember or look up online, how you got the project out there in its first month. This is going to be very, very crucial for new creators to learn, because so much of the difficulty in those first days, as you yourself probably know, is the issue of getting noticed and building those first dozen or so followers. Tell me exactly what you did, what you posted, what it involved, and your thinking behind taking that course of action. One of the main questions we're looking to solve with a research project is this: where does an audience first come from? And what did you do to get that audience? Or what happened to you that generated an audience? Were there plans made and executed that were successful, or were there surprises? If there were surprise elements of where people were coming from, like if they came to you after somebody mentioned the project or shared it on Twitter when you don't have a Twitter presence for the project, go ahead and tell me that. If there were both plans executed that were successful and surprises, let me know. Even if you made a bunch of fake Reddit accounts and posted on r/ARG and other places to self-promote, I need to know. If you went to 4chan's X board and tried to promote yourself there, if you went as far as paying for advertising somehow, if you had a prominent friend who was able to give your project a bump, I need to know. There cannot be room here for embarrassment about the beginning, although you can admit if you feel now that you took the wrong approach or even got negative attention for the route you took. And if you just plain got lucky and went viral, I need to know the story of how that happened. Wherever you went, whatever you did that generated the first viewers and followers for your project, whatever lit the fire, that story must be told, and in as much detail as you can remember or look up to jog your memory. It's okay if you can't pinpoint something right down to a T. Even if it's just a case where you uploaded a video that got traction as part of your series, but you don't know specifically what about the video attracted new people, tell me what tags you used, the title, anything you think is helpful for identifying what elements worked for getting eyes on it. Tell me the whole story of the beginning from that point, where the first dozen, 50, or 100 audience members came from, any approach you took to gather them, where they congregated, and whether or not you set up the community space where they came together or if they did it themselves. Tell me how it felt to see people respond to your work for the first time, what their responses were like, how things carried on after. Describe how you conducted your project from there, and the points that did make traction, points that didn't, things you felt were successful, things that didn't work. Give me the measurements of time from the launch of the project to the point where you hit milestones in terms of audience or what you deemed as personal success, especially for your own creative output. How long did it take to put out 10 videos or 10 posts or complete an act you outlined for the project? How long did it take to see 10 followers, 50, 100, or 500? If you ran an ARG, how soon did players get stuck? How quickly did they manage to bust through any puzzles or codes you gave? What was engagement like between audience members and your character or characters? In what ways did they engage? How was your first month of the project being live? How were the first 3 months, the first 6? What was it like by the end of the first year if you ran that long? Timeline it out as much as possible. Think about it all from your own experience and what information you would have loved to have from a creator when you were starting out. Tell me how you felt and what you thought at each point. If you felt like a success, if you felt like a failure, if you felt like you were doing all right but could do better, what the numbers were, what engagement from the crowd was like, and if there was a discrepancy between audience size and actual participant size for interactive elements. Because that's the other point we really need to get info on with this research. Setting expectations for how this kind of thing goes once you have an audience and what reception is going to be like, both in terms of general audience and actual hardcore involved participants. The ones who play the interactive bits or compiled info into documents that others look at to catch up on the story. There are so many creators, but so little communication on what is normal and what's been experienced. So there's no bar of reference to set anybody's expectations around the reality and establish grounded perceptions. You can write as much as you like, especially if it means I get more details and specifics. I don't care if you end up writing 10 or 20 pages and have to send it to me as a Google Doc. The information is very valuable, very necessary, and very appreciated. At the end, let me know where the project ended up or where it is currently in terms of audience size, audience participation, the length of time it's taken for you to run the project, including moments of life getting in the way and going on hiatus. Yes, that is actually very important to put down. And most importantly, are you happy? Were you surprised at how you felt at certain moments or how soon you found satisfaction with your efforts? What moment made you satisfied? Did you feel good just with 50 people following and engaging? Did it take more or did it take less? Are you grateful just for 10 passionate people treating it like their favorite new TV show? Or purely for making the project at all and putting something out into the world? And finally, what takeaways would you share with hopeful creators and people launching new projects? You can inform me of any information you wouldn't like published or specifics you want barred from public mention. And please do let me know if it's alright to publish your report on the Nightmind Index in the future after examining all the results. I'm going to compile all this information for a findings and results video, as well as publishing some of the video contents on the site, but I'd love to have the full-length correspondence available for people to read personally through the site if they so choose. If the bulk of what you share is alright to publish, but you'd like some portion subtracted, that's also quite alright. And I'll check to confirm permissions and comfort levels with anybody whose reports I'd like to provide on the index. I'm going to be running the information gathering stage from the very moment this video goes live through August 31st, 2021. Soon after, I'll be publishing a video detailing the findings of the research effort, and public posting of full correspondence may come around then or take just a bit of time after. Also, if you email me for the Trailhead project, it's quite possible I may reply with further questions, so do keep an eye out for replies. I know I'm asking for a lot of information here, and a lot of writing, but the more info we have, the better we can help the new generations of creators. Please, I implore you, if you're willing to assist, if you've ever wanted to really tell the story of creating, launching, and continuing your project, please contribute. Massive successes, small successes, moderate, unknowns, even those of you who perceive what you made as failures, we need you all. Tell the tale, and you might help a lot more people tell theirs. By the way, just as a clarification, because I know how things go sometimes and I just have to say it outright, if you are a fan Discord mod or lead community member for a project or anything like that, but not the project creator, please do not email me for this. I appreciate your willingness to help, but Trailhead is specifically, entirely, 100% for main project creators only, not for audience participants, no matter how dedicated they are or how much knowledge they have. No project helpers either. It's the main creator of the project or nothing. If you haven't launched and run the Unfiction project you're writing about, see if you can pass this video on to the creator in question instead, and ask if they'll share their story. That's the best way to help me and everybody who can benefit from this research project if you'd like to be of assistance, but haven't been the chief creator for something. Again, I know this is asking a lot. It's not often that somebody invites you to send them a mini autobiography, but there's a lot of info we can and should gather, and it hasn't been done before, so we've got a lot of ground to cover. I appreciate anybody reaching out and contributing, and I know that those who may benefit from this endeavor in the future will appreciate you too. That's all for tonight, everyone. If you can share this with a creator you follow or whose work you enjoy who you think could contribute, that would be a big help. Otherwise, I'll see you all again real soon for some regular Nightmind activity. Until then, sleep tight.